What is capitulation in crypto? In this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly what capitulation is in crypto. I'm going to explain the psychology behind it. I'm also going to show you some examples on charts, and I'm going to most importantly show you how you can use this tool and spot it so that way you can make outsized returns in the crypto market to help time bottoms or potential bottoms. With that being said, my name is Adam and I created this crypto channel to help make your crypto trading and investing experience easy, lucrative, and fun. And I've been trading Bitcoin since 2014. Now, with that being said, let's talk about what capitulation is and what it means. Well, capitulation really originally come from the military. It's a military term that basically means that the military has flown the white flag, that they've basically acted in an act of surrender. They've surrendered the territory. And this is like they've basically given up. Okay, so in trading, it's much like the same thing. Basically means that long holders or buyers have basically given up and they are just cutting their losses where they can. Another way to think about capitulation is just panic selling. And a lot of the times directly after capitulation, this is when the markets are generally oversold. Now, in order to better understand capitulation, you have to understand the psychology behind a market cycle. This happens in all markets, but it really is exaggerated in the crypto market because it still is a newer, more volatile market. As you know, the market is made up of human beings. Human beings are emotional beings and they make emotional-based decisions. And if you look at a market cycle, it's just it's a series of emotions that human beings go through, right? And if you take a look towards the top, this is where people are in belief, they're in thrill, they're in euphoria, and maybe you've thought this, I'm a genius, we're all going to be rich, right? We're all going to make it, right? Everything's going to be okay. Like we're all getting rich. And definitely we've had those days in crypto if you've been around for any period of time. But then what comes next? Complacency, anxiety, denial, panic, and capitulation. So capitulation is I'm getting out 100% out of the markets. I can't afford to lose more. This is where people have essentially they can't afford to lose anymore and they become panic sellers. Now, at the time of making this video, we're seeing this with large institutions like Celsius and Three Arrows Capital. They don't want to sell their assets, but they're being forced to sell their assets because they're over leveraged. For example, Celsius had about $12 billion in assets and they're lending out about $8 billion. And because prices dip so much, they're getting liquidated. So some other things to look at when analyzing where is capitulation is number one is there's usually severe price drops. Like we can see right here, this likely is some sort of capitulation, right? We saw it happening with what happened with the Luna UST situation and then also with Three Arrows Capital and the FUD around Celsius. We'll see what happens with them. But you can see this week we were down 11% and then this week we're down 22%. So these are large red candles that you see up on the chart. You can also see it right here, a series of like really nasty red candles, 20% and then 25%. So losing nearly 55% of value in just 2 weeks. So capitulation is usually these really long, sharp, down, ugly looking red candles that basically makes you want to throw up on your keyboard. And this is generally the times where people are saying that crypto is dead, it's never going to return. This is capitulation. And in reality, capitulation, how you should act on it is capitulation is actually the worst time to sell. This is when people are panic selling. This is when over leveraged traders are getting liquidated. And this is probably the worst time that you can sell because generally after capitulation, the market is either going to consolidate for a while or it's going to bounce. And a lot of the times we'll see after capitulation, you see some sort of strong bounce. Like if we saw back here, back in, 2020, for COVID, right? When the COVID scare happened, we saw the market lose 33.5% of its value in just 1 week. And then we saw like this really quick V-shaped recovery. Now that doesn't always happen. You can see back here that we saw these couple weeks of capitulation candles and then it kind of rounded off and was complacent or was consolidating here before we started running up. But the capitulation candles are not times that you really want to be forced to sell. These are actually times that historically you should be looking to buy. Now, one serious advantage that we have in crypto is we do have the advantage of being able to see stuff happening on chain. Now, obviously, right here in this chart, sorry, it's a little bit blurry. I think it got blurry when I blew it up. But basically, here you can see basically that miners have started to capitulate, which basically means that the rewards that miners are getting from mining Bitcoin is less than what it cost them to actually mine. And so miners are becoming forced sellers. And this is another indicator that generally marks close to a bottom in the crypto markets, or a bottom in the crypto markets, meaning that these miners are forced sellers. And as you can see this here, what we've seen recently is just this huge spike in miner to exchange inflows, meaning miners are mining the Bitcoin and they're sending it to exchanges in order to sell it for cash. And generally, this is a sign that, we're towards the bottom, if not very close to the bottom. And if you just take a look here, you can see previous capitulation events like here. You can also see capitulation event like here, where price, got drugged down really quickly and then it started recovering afterwards. Now, another thing that you can see, since we do have access to this on the blockchain, which is nice, is we can see that public miners have started selling in an accelerated fashion. So here you can see how many miners have been, basically the amount of Bitcoins that have been sold by miners. And you can see just here in May, it's been pretty crazy, and even crazier in June. I think this chart is a little bit outdated. But now here's another example of capitulation. Just looking at the stock market, the S&P 500, right? We saw this happen around COVID as well. We saw these two nasty candles here, which were 10% and 14% respectively, which is not as drastic as crypto, but still in the stock market, this is a significant move. And as you can see here, right after this big red candle, there was a strong buyback, and then the market continued on upwards. So this is kind of what capitulation looks like. This is not time to be a seller. Generally, this is the time when we're getting towards those forced liquidations, and it's generally a better time to start buying rather than selling. By the way, I'll just mention that if you like this video, then you may want to consider following us on Instagram as well. I come out with content every single day in our stories and in shorter form, like 1 minute long reels, to keep you up to date with everything that's important that's happening in cryptocurrency. If you found this video helpful, then go ahead, like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, and feel free to check out some of our other helpful videos on this channel.